Let's begin.
Here we go! Hi, everybody!
Start the insanity.
You are not worried, are you?
Me? No.
Well, we're waiting.
Hello and welcome to Super Media All-Stars. We are a weekly podcast, and tonight we are talking about movies. I'm your host, John Harris. I'm joined by two of the All-Stars, first one being Jake Boston.
Is glass ass?
And Anthony Borich.
What a twist!
That's what we're talking about tonight. We are talking about Glass. This just came out. It is opening weekend. We saw it premiere night Thursday. And I gotta say, I'm still not completely sure where I'm going to land on this one.
I'm glad I'm with you two because when we saw it in theaters, we just kind of skimmed through what we kind of thought, and I'm still undecided as to how I think. So I want to talk thoroughly through this movie with you guys.
I think I'm the same way. I want to hear you guys' thoughts and see where they land, and I think I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, spoilers, I'm all over the board.
That's all a teaser because we got to get back. We'll get back to that in a little bit later. But first, I want to ask you guys, we did our end of year stuff. We're still pumping that out, so be patient with us. But it's been a while since we've literally just sat down and talked about what we've been watching lately.
I've watched a whole bunch, so I can't name all of mine. On Cinema Obsessed on YouTube, I reviewed Escape Room.
I saw that.
I guess we'll start with that one.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it a whole hell of a lot more than what I did. And honestly, the first, 2/3 of the movie were pretty entertaining. It's just like a PG-13 version of Saw.
Oh, really?
Which I think I would like.
No, it's fine. Yeah,
Because the Saw is always goes over just a little bit too far.
yeah, you definitely don't see the gore. Like Saw is total gore porn,
Right.
and Escape Room is not. It has just like a puzzle room. And one of them has to do with heat, and then the next one has to do with cold, and they have to figure out how to escape the room and shit. So I did like that. And through the trailers, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's a total dumb. I can't believe nobody else has thought of to make a horror movie out of this concept.
Sure. Was this a Blumhouse movie?
I don't remember who did it, but it was either
this
of
is
those.
a weird one.
It's a low budget.
Oh, it's Sony.
Oh, it's Sony.
Screen Gems and Sony. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorny.
Which it made it seem like Lionsgate did Saw, and they made 8 movies out of that. So
Right.
Sony just oh, we can do that too, duh. And that's why I hated this movie, because the last half hour tries to make it a thing to where there could be sequel upon sequel. Total crash and burn. It sucks. It made me hate this movie, and it was very unfortunate because I was liking a lot of it.
What did you end up giving it?
2.
2 stars?
Yeah, 2 out of 5. The ending. I hate movies that put endings in with twists that think they're so smart and it's just so stupid.
That sucks.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was a January release,
Yep.
so it fits the January stereotype.
Sure does. I don't know if
That's
I've talked about this on the podcast or not, but yeah, January movies are just fucking dump month.
We'll see, because we'll see what we
I
feel
was
about
gonna
Glass.
say,
What about a dog's purpose or whatever? Fuck that. Dog and cougar best friends.
You mean the movie that
A Dog's Way Home.
pretty
Dog's
much
Way Home.
that got resolved within the trailer? Or
Yeah, you saw the whole thing in 3
okay.
minutes,
Yeah.
and I hated that.
I'm glad he's okay.
too.
I have a problem with pet movies that are feel good and then show you the whole movie during the trailer.
Isn't that all pet movies, though?
Kind of.
I remember Hachi. Nobody remembers Hachi.
No, I remember Airbud.
It was about this.
Ew! I was going to say
Classic.
a good Homeward
Homeward
Bound.
Bound. That's good. That was good.
That was a good pet movie. But
Yeah, Babe was good.
Babe's okay.
Babe's okay.
It has dogs.
Airbud though, that was your example.
It was like a VHS must-have.
Let's talk about anything else.
So I got a few things. We wrapped up Star Trek, all the old ones finally.
What do you mean all? There's so many.
I know, but we remember
Oh, the movies.
The movies.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
So we got through the what is it? The last. I forget what it's called. The Star Trek 6.
Resurrect. Oh, so you're not Resurrection or Insurrection or anything?
No, just the original series Star Trek movies. Not
The Next Generation.
Picard. No Picard. No Picard movies. But anyway,
TNG, bud.
yeah. Once again, this movie was written by Shatner, so it's a little Shatnery. It was good though. I think it ended on a highlight, and it was a nice send off to that original cast before they did their last Star Trek appearances for the last next 10 to 15 years. Another thing I checked out was Hidden Figures. It was a movie that came out 2 or 3 years ago.
I think 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice historical piece of story that if you never heard about it, you never known it was around. Especially about these 3 women who like helped NASA and the coordinates of like the first few rockets that went to space and like the race with Russia. It's just like a nice, I want to call it, historical piece that I forget who directed, but it was really good. I really
Totally
enjoyed it.
forgot about that movie until you mentioned it.
Yeah?
It's just kind of
What would you give that?
Probably 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's keeps you interested, and it's got a good message, and I like space stuff, so that was kind of cool. But yeah,
Nice.
Very good.
So for school, I have to watch a documentary a week. And this week was The Corporation, a 2.5-hour Michael Moore documentary. This one was based around corporations and how they're not giving back to us. How the 14th Amendment, with it being such a great thing for slaves, giving them their freedom, it also gave corporations their freedom as an entity, so that they could sue, be sued, own land, do anything that's good for the corporation. And so a lot of them take steps to, what do I want to say? There's bad apples out there who don't give money back to...
Aren't all his movies just about explaining a problem but offering no solution?
Kind of. Yeah, I mean, in this one, yeah. And that's what he alludes to that at the end of the movie where he's like, I know that I can't really do anything, but I'm just shedding light to this.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I'm 2.5
what he does with
hours
everything, though.
into this, and it's like, oh, okay. So,
You know what movie did that better? It presented a problem but did it smartly. The Other Guys at the end of the movie where they talked about the...
Oh, sure.
I
yeah.
love those
Right.
stats.
Well,
Like
that came out of nowhere, too.
Yeah, like the end of that during the credits.
Yep.
That's what I like. But
Yep.
Michael Moore's a little extravagant.
it was, you say extravagant. I think it's very strong.
Yeah.
It was fine. 2 hours that I have to write a 4-page paper for, so it was fine.
Yay.
The other things I've been watching, just a
Oh,
couple.
hang on. What would you rate that Michael Moore movie?
Documentaries are hard to rate. 2.5.
I was gonna
Like,
say, that's what I feel like.
Wow.
It's hard to
That's
give
a bad doc, then. See,
but it was good. I don't know.
I feel like if you want to learn about it, then you go.
do not look at me. I don't know.
If you want to learn about that subject, you go watch this movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to
No,
do anything.
you would have to have a passion to want to know about this, and I wouldn't seek it out to go watch it again.
I'm glad we talked you up to that.
I know, right? You bumped me into the 3. Anyway, and then I've been watching a couple of shows that have just came back. So honestly, I haven't stopped watching Modern Family. It's still good. I think
I stopped like 2 seasons ago.
Really?
And we just kind of
It's-
dropped off. It's
it's-
a good show.
it
It's
really
just always
is.
the same.
yeah. And then This Is Us. This Is Us came back, and
Right.
it's a good episode. So
You were talking about The Other Guys
Yeah.
not too long ago, like 2 minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about Adam McKay's newest movie, Vice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This was something. It's a good movie, but fuck, does Adam McKay like push his agenda hard
see,
in
that's
this?
unfortunate. I still really want to see it because I love W, and I know you weren't a big fan of it.
No,
but
W is a bore fest for me.
that's unfortunate. That's a good one.
This isn't a bore fest, but just kind of the directing flares that McKay decides to throw on here, some work and some are just like, why the hell did you even do that? Like, he's being artistic and experimental when he doesn't need to be in some circumstances, and it just kind of threw me out of the movie. I don't know, it was weird. I liked it. All the performances were good, and they were acting like they were in this awards contending movie. And then Adam McKay comes in, he's like, oh no, let's throw in some slapstick here. Or, hey, here's a false ending. Here you go. It's fucking weird. I don't know. I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5 because I did like it, even when it was trying to like overcome its smartness, I guess. But
Sure.
yeah, Christian Bale is amazing in this. Amy Adams is amazing in this. A lot of people aren't liking Steve Carell as Donald Rumsfeld, but I thought he was pretty good. I mean, he was definitely like over the top, but I still liked him.
So a 3.5 people should check it out.
I think so. Just know going in that you're in for something different, and that might not be a good thing.
All right, but I'm going to turn over to you two because you two have an announcement that you need to get to.
Oh, Big Brother.
Oh,
Celebrity
Celebrity
Big
Big Brother.
Brother.
Oh, fuck. Here we go. Starting up real soon.
Oh yeah.
And boy, oh boy, what a cast.
Who's on this cast?
The main person that I want to talk about is Tom Green.
Oh,
Tom Green's on this
John
bad
loves
boy.
Tom Green.
no, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
From what?
From everything he's ever done.
Nope.
The Tom Green Show. Did you ever watch that as a kid?
No.
Oh, I loved it. The Bum Bum song.
Nope.
Ooh, I'm all in on Tom Green, and he's so like deadpan. Oh, I can't, he's gonna be great, and he's gonna drive all the cast members nuts.
Oh yeah.
What other? If he's the pinnacle, then what's left?
I wouldn't say he's the pinnacle.
To me, he is. There's
That's
none
a-
better.
Is there anybody else worth mentioning on this celebrity?
There's Joey Lawrence.
Don't know who that is.
NSYNC?
No, not In Sync. He was in Blossom.
Oh yeah. No, sorry.
And he's in Melissa and Joey. Brotherly Love. Have you not seen this Disney Channel classic?
Nope.
Oh my God. He's one of the Lawrence brothers. Joey, Matt, and Andy.
Nope.
Oh my God.
So
what hole are you living in?
I
guess a farm
I
when
try
you
to
grew up.
I try to stick to a D list and above celebrity tier list. not the
Joey Lawrence is D.
Okay, here you go. Well,
Who else do you got? Because you're not doing anything for me yet.
There's a ex WWE diva, Eva Marie.
Never heard of her.
Yep, I am hoping she's good, but who the hell knows? Iowa native Lolo Jones.
a Real Housewife of Atlanta.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's where it starts dropping off for me.
A witness to the O.J. Simpson murder trial.
Kato Kalin.
what?
You haven't heard of Kato Kalin?
No.
He lived with OJ during the murders.
Wow.
Again, that like make fun of on Family Guy where they're sitting together and they come up with the
Yeah.
There's Lindsay Lohan's mom.
Oh my God.
yeah.
Why are you guys excited for this?
I can't wait because they're all
Ricky
train wreck
Williams
people.
is on it? I didn't know that.
Who?
Ricky Williams.
Oh yeah, the running back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The
Ew.
old Dolphins running back. He had like a really good contract, and he just decided not to play anymore because he liked to smoke weed.
Is there?
And then your political guy, Anthony.
Scaramucci.
Yep.
I don't care about him, but
No, he's gross.
he's the Omarosa of this season.
Yep.
for sure.
That Jonathan Bennett from Cake Wars.
Nope. You guys are.
You don't know Jonathan Bennett from Cake Wars, John? Come on.
He's the judge.
You guys are really scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
There's Tom Green.
God, he's got the Osama bin Laden beard.
Oh,
all
man.
grayed out and
Again.
everything.
Again, that Family Guy. Does anyone like me yet? Can I stop?
Well,
Those are all the heavy hitters, John.
I think
That
it's
was it.
always good to end your "What are we watching?" on a high note.
It starts on Monday. Can't wait.
All right, guys, let's put aside this huge announcement of Big Brother and switch to something a little more grounded. And as we all saw, Glass opening weekend. It is now Saturday night, and we're gonna talk about how we feel about it because there's could be a lot to dissect here. I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts, but this first part will be spoiler free.
Okay.
Spoiler section will be a little different. I just kind of laid out some questions that if you were listening and you saw this movie, I think hopefully these are questions that you have as well. So we'll get into that. But first, I want to ask you guys, what was your first thoughts leaving Glass?
I was confused. My brain was kind of all over the place because it wasn't the sequel. I guess I didn't know what I wanted in this movie, and it definitely gave me something I wasn't expecting, and I wasn't quite sure if that was good or bad.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I was processing a lot. I felt kind of numb to it, and like I said, I had no idea where they were going to go with this sequel and how much it was going to be. Like I knew it was like the end of his little trilogy here, and where it would end with his style of movies. It could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think I liked how it turned out.
I think I did too. Jake, I think you said it best of I didn't know where it was going to go. I don't know what I wanted. And I think that's kind of when it ended, I was like, is that really what I wanted? Did I get kind of okay? Yeah, no, M. Night Shyamalan twists, and I think that's exactly what he wanted.
See, and we'll talk about that later, but a lot of people are shitting on this movie because it's like, oh, Shyamalan's doing another twist and it's stupid. Da, da, da. I don't think that's the case with this one, and I think it's poorly done by the reviewers just to throw that out there. I don't know. I don't really like it because his past few movies, there really hasn't been a twist. So if he wants to put another one in this one and it doesn't land with you, it's not just because it's a shitty twist.
Yeah, I didn't even think too much of the. I mean, I think there's a couple twists in this, but it wasn't like what people expect of him, groundbreaking, or like that was happening the entire movie. There's a little bit of that, but to hold that against it is, I would agree with you, is a little unfair on the review side.
I just feel like people want to shit on Shyamalan again. And that's unfortunate because his past two movies, The Visit and Split, have been really good.
Yeah, and like I'm hearing criticism like this movie is kind of undecisive of whether it wants to be a psychological thriller or a superhero movie. And I think it's got a little bit of both of those, but I like that balance that he achieves in this movie.
This movie is three different things. It's a sequel to Unbreakable, the first third. No, it's a sequel to Split, the first third. The second third, it's a sequel to Unbreakable. And the third film, it's finally starting to be the movie Glass.
Right. And I don't think that's a problem.
No, I think that was fine. Like, the pacing hit me a couple times, but I'm like, okay, Unbreakable was really slow. And there are parts in this that are really slow and take its time. And sometimes I think it doesn't work to the effect that Shyamalan thought it would, but I'm okay with slow pacing.
Yeah.
But more I've sat on this movie, I think the things that I just glanced over during the movie, like the overall picture that I got with this movie, it's gotten better for me.
See, and that's where I'm conflicted too, because part of my brain wants to nitpick the fuck out of this movie.
Sure.
But then the other part of it as a whole, thinking back to it, it's just like, I love this. I just don't think it was done to its highest quality. I think that the Blumhouse effect happened. The budget wasn't that big, and he wasn't able to do everything that he needed to do. I think some things were forced. Some things, like the budget was cut, and some things look dumb. Like there's a person's makeup in this that looks fucking horrible. And we'll talk about that later because it's kind of a spoiler because it hasn't been in any trailers or anything, so I won't say anything. But I'm most bummed because when all three of us saw Split in theaters together, and I remember, like, the only time that in a theater I shouted, holy shit, because the last 5 minutes of Split happened.
Or holy shit.
Yeah, and I couldn't fucking believe it. And I was fanboying out because I did not think that movie would be a sequel to Unbreakable.
Right.
Like, that was always just a fan dream. Just like, hey, we'll get a sequel to this sometime. And it was happening, and that was the twist to that movie. Fucking perfect. And I left that theater so ecstatic, and I just wanted to talk nothing but Split forever. And this one, I just walked out and I'm like, I don't know what to think right now. And I'm still at that spot. I don't know how I feel about this.
I didn't have the same feeling I had when I saw Split when I saw this.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in the same boat where it was good, but I wanted another Split. I wanted another, oh, really? Mm-hmm. Wow, holy shit. Mm-hmm. I didn't get that.
Just kind of going a little bit of his style and what this film does right. There's a lot of things that work and things that don't, like you said, Jake. But as far as like pacing and like, I was pretty interested throughout this whole entire movie. Not once I was like really bored because in classic Shyamalan fashion, there's little tidbits here and there that add up to a greater sum, and it plays to his ending very well, I thought. But I was really worried about being bored with this movie, like I was Unbreakable.
You were bored in Unbreakable?
A little bit.
Oh, see, I love the pacing to that.
See,
everything was methodically done in Unbreakable.
Yeah, and I think that's the same here, but for some reason,
don't.
You don't think so?
I don't. I think some things happen in here that aren't explained and are shown, and they're not earned.
Really?
And that's the main problem that I have with this movie.
But I think what kept me interested was his style of film editing and how he cuts things, because he does a lot of pans, especially with the conversations in this movie.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of close-ups with people talking. That, to me, that really engrosses me and keeps me like on the edge of a seat with what people's going to say, what they're going to do, and it kind of creates this, I don't know, Shyamalan feeling of being in the movie with these people.
Yeah. And I would say the majority of them worked for me, but then sometimes he's just getting in his own way.
You think so?
Yeah, there are a couple scenes to where like they have like the handy cam look to where like they strap a GoPro on your chest
and they're close up to the faces.
And I hate that. That's done way too much now.
I understand that because that part was weird.
But that's also a budgetary issue to where like I don't have a lot of room to do this, but I want to do something kind of special to where like you're just in their face and nothing else matters.
Right.
throw in the GoPro.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that in some of
Yeah,
our
we will.
favorite and least favorite scenes. Let's do a little cast rundown, as we say with this film. And just kick it off right off the bat, returning from Split, James McAvoy. Fantastic.
He's so good. He's so
I
talented.
feel like he didn't
He
skip
is.
a beat
Oh my
from Split
God.
to this.
No.
It still makes me mad that he wasn't nominated for anything for that because that is the performance that's the best performance he's ever going to give. Just because there's so much to chew on
So
with
much
that.
range.
Yeah.
In one character, he's so good. He deserves something.
And it's not too spoiler, but if you saw a Split and you thought he does a good job of jumping to personality, it's like doubled in Glass
yeah.
between the switching very quickly and
Yeah.
the mechanism they used to make that happen in Glass. Like it was never explained in Split, but it works for this movie.
It's a good idea, but there's one scene where it goes on way too long, and
Yep.
the only reason why they did it is to show more of his personalities, and I thought that was a bit of a stretch.
The scene with the nurse.
Yep.
But as far as McAvoy goes, like
No, he's great.
Yeah, for each personality, which I think they end up being like what 20.
There's 23.
Yeah, and 24 being the Beast.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we saw all of them, but the people we saw were just very distinct, and he can switch it like that.
Well, in Split, you only see 6.
Yep.
no, that's
So
true.
I'm guessing here there's at least double digit.
Right, and we get the return of
Patricia.
like
That's his best
the
one.
personalities we know, and then like the one we got.
You don't want Hedwig? I like Hedwig.
Hedwig's good, but
Uh-huh.
it's Patricia. That's his. When he just,
It's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
very
good.
good.
He's
Yeah.
good.
And then one of the characters we'll save for later, but he was in the end of Split when he comes back in the Glass. It was nice to have that character return. We had Bruce Willis back as David Dunn from Unbreakable. I feel like he does the Bruce Willis routine here.
That it's what he did in Unbreakable, so I'm totally okay with it. Bruce Willis is gonna Bruce Willis, but I really liked him in this. I guess his performance was okay. Where his character went, I really liked.
Yeah, I would
because
agree.
it doesn't really skip a beat. It hops on like 18 years after Unbreakable. What the hell is he up to? I fucking loved it. I loved that part of it, and that's more script than performance. But
Well, that in relationship with his son, like you said, it comes right from Unbreakable, and where it goes into this film, like it just feels right. It feels like what would happen.
the same actor came back, which is cool because I haven't seen that guy since Unbreakable.
Exactly. I forget his name, but it's
Yeah, everybody does.
It also does a great job of Shyamalan. You mentioned this after the movie, but it pulls old footage from Unbreakable, uses it in Glass.
It actually pulled a deleted scene from Unbreakable.
Oh, really?
And put it in there. It did that a couple times in this movie, which I thought was genius. It made it think that he had this master plan for this movie and filmed scenes 18 years ago just to put in the sequel.
Right, and when it's up-res and used for this movie, it looks like a flashback that works.
Yeah.
So it was awesome to see that stuff again. Surprisingly, me and Daniel really talked about this, but Samuel L. Jackson as returning as Elijah Price, this is probably one of my favorite roles that he's been in.
Most definitely. Did you like him in Unbreakable?
I did.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah.
And after we talked about what's Danielle, but the last 10 years I've seen him as Nick Fury, this was kind of a nice, refreshing take on him in a superhero-esque movie that's not Nick Fury.
Not Nick Fury. Samuel L. Jackson is a brand now. Like, he has a type that he always plays.
Yep.
And it's always nice of any actor when that happens and they go against type and they play an actual character, like stretches his acting ability. It's always nice to see that. And he is great in this.
He has, for majority of this movie, he has a quiet, unsettling look to him. And that plays perfectly into what happens in the plot of this movie.
Yeah.
But then, like, his personality from Unbreakable definitely picks up right in Glass, and the overall conclusion we get with Mr. Glass is I thought it was perfect for that character.
Yeah, I do too. I without going into much, I will just say I wanted more of him in this.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like for a movie called Glass, there wasn't a lot of Glass,
Sure.
which is kind of unfortunate.
New to this cast was Sarah Paulson as Dr. Ellie Staple, a psychiatrist who's you've seen from the trailers and studying these three folks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's awesome.
There's some things that happen with this character that are really good. Can't really talk about it, but the things you see in the trailer with her, and like that, especially the main scene with the three of them and her all talking to each other, was one of my favorite scenes, especially with how she just has a look about her that pierces
she
people.
does. Yep.
Sarah Paulson is really good at monologuing.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of that in this movie. She just works to her strengths.
Also returning was Anna Taylor-Joy from Split.
See, is that a spoiler?
No, she's in the trailer.
Yeah,
Is she?
she's in the
Yeah,
trailer.
she returned as Casey Cook, and it's literally like what 3 weeks, or not too long after
3 weeks after Split.
Yep.
Yeah.
that this picks up, and a lot has happened for this character in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
As far as I would consider her a side character in this movie, but I think she's probably one that really took me surprise of what her part would be in this movie.
Her performance is great.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
the
No,
way she
good
was
actress.
told to act at certain points. I'm just like, would that happen?
The little boy that we referenced earlier was Spencer Trent Clark as Joseph Dunn.
Not so little anymore, John.
No,
No.
he's a full-grown man, a guy who believes in his father.
A lot.
Just to have that dynamic from Unbreakable and where it's at now, I think that was needed for his character.
Yeah, and not to go into spoilers yet, but his progression in between the two movies that he's in makes total sense.
Right.
And I fucking loved it.
Yeah, and how much, like, he also has a role to play. There ends up being like 3 characters that have roles to play that I thought were interesting to the plot. I didn't know where they were going with it, but
Me either.
how it comes to the and we'll get into it, works perfectly, I thought. Mm-hmm. And to wrap things up, we had Charlene Woodard as Mrs. Price, who I can't remember if she had a big role in Unbreakable.
It's not the same actress.
It's not.
No.
Okay.
And that's one main thing that bugged me a little bit.
Oh, really?
This woman is actually younger than Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, really?
And they aged her up with some of the shittiest makeup I've ever seen in my life.
Is that what you're referring
Yeah.
to? Oh, okay.
I didn't know if we were going to talk about her in non-spoilers, but yeah, they have flashbacks to her doing things with Elijah, and that looks fine.
Right.
But whenever she's old lady, I'm like, is this like bad grandpa type of shit? Like, this is bad makeup.
I thought her character was actually one of the most interesting for the very few minutes we have with her, and her connection, her relationship with her son, ends up being something I totally either forgot or it's something new in this movie that I end up really liking. That's a majority of the cast rundown here, so I think that kind of allows us to jump into our spoiler section. All right, with that noise, we're into the spoiler section. And how this is going to work is Glass is such an interesting, unique movie where we could talk through what happened, but I think it's best to... I wrote down some questions for you guys that'll help us walk through kind of how this movie, where it went and how it ended. So to kick things off, first of all, did you like the conclusion with our main 3 characters?
So we're starting with the ending.
Yes.
I feel like that's the thing that everybody has a problem with. So it's a good place to kick off because I'm still kind of I'm not confused. I just don't really think they earned the ending that they got.
For me, it was more of it escalated a little bit, but definitely never like peaked. I'm not sure if that was Shyamalan's point. Like they built up to be this throwdown at this tower.
Yeah.
But that was never the thing. It was more of a trying to make a point, and nobody was actually going to get out alive.
That I'm totally okay with. I'm glad that like they were throwing this final battle somewhere else and they couldn't even make it there.
Right.
I'm okay with that. The main thing I didn't like is the whole Hydra angle that felt completely unearned.
Oh, see, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like,
Because they're randomly, you think these cops show up and a sniper rifle shoots Kevin.
right,
And it slowly pans to like this 3-leaf clover on them.
right.
And I'm like, number one, why are they panning to this? Number two, is this part of any lore that's been in Split and Unbreakable? And it's not. It's just made up right there.
Right, and I think it's
being introduced in the last 40 minutes of the movie.
yeah, it's a little like you said. I'm not sure if it's deserved. It goes into his overall message here, and that's the message that Glass is trying to say here. But like having that organization come from nowhere, I get what you're saying.
Because it's so heavy-handed with where the plot goes from there on out.
Right.
It's just like, why do I care about these people? And I like how they stand for trying to make sure the public doesn't know that supervillains or heroes exist because they want to keep the status quo.
Right.
I like that a lot.
It's a good idea
I just wish it was introduced a little bit earlier.
instead of having to believe it right here at the end.
Because we go from I thought a pretty good battle between David Dunn and the Beast
Right.
to having everybody dead. And then it's
Right.
just like, what the fuck just happened? Oh, it's this thing I've never heard of before. They killed him. They're the actual bad guys.
Right.
And I felt like he left that as a reveal to shock you, but I was shocked in all the wrong ways.
See, I thought he used that as a plot device to the greater end of like society who doesn't want, like you said, the superheroes to exist. They want to keep them in check.
Yeah.
But also, like, it is the destiny of mankind to evolve, and that's what these three guys represented. Yeah, there's a society who doesn't want that to happen, but like Glass, he wanted to reveal it.
And why don't they want it to happen?
I don't know.
Who is the head of this mystery organization?
But there's like tidbits like, we're done in Philadelphia, so we're going to the next city. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, which is fine, and that totally goes into the ending to where, like, oh, okay, they're leaking this footage and spreading it on the World Wide Web.
Right.
So now, if there are other superheroes in other areas, they have the courage to actually get out there and go public.
Right. Don't be afraid to be a hero or step up when society's telling you not to. Or be yourself. Embrace who you are. Because Glass was telling, Dunn, throughout this entire Glass movie, he's like, you're not reaching your full potential. And why aren't you doing so?
Yeah.
And then at the end of this movie, he kind of does, but he gets killed by water. So,
He gets killed by a puddle.
Right.
Yeah.
But like,
Which I like and hate. Because I like how, I know a lot of this is like psychiatrical stuff.
Right.
And his biggest phobia was water, and that's like his kryptonite. And I like how like a little puddle can kill him because he's so weak.
Right. But after leaving that giant water tank.
Right.
Yeah. Which they weren't in for a long time anyway. So you don't think he'd be that weak, but he was, I guess.
Right. But I especially with those three characters in that very last scene where we had Dunn, who appeared to break out of his like water cage, and we thought he was free, but he never stood a chance to escape. And then to have the Beast like wanting to break free, but then he gets shot in the heart, like you said.
Well, that is awesome. I like that. Did you not like it, Anthony?
I know. I loved that. I think that was my favorite part.
Yeah, because
only-
Anna Taylor-Joy gets Kevin back out,
Yep.
Right.
and since he's not the Beast anymore, he can be killed.
That's the only reason he got killed. Because had it hit the Beast could have just made it.
Well, even
go
the
away.
Beast makes a quick reappearance while he's dying. And he's like, you should have let me. He said something to that degree, but like,
I don't think the Beast was there.
I think it was Patricia.
no, somebody comes out, whether it be one of his characters or the Beast, but he says, "This is what I was here to protect Kevin, and this is now I can't."
I thought that was the I can't remember his name, the pervy guy.
Maybe,
Oh.
but to have Kevin come out in those last few minutes, and to come to the light and embrace it, and then he goes into a little spiel about what he's feeling with Anna Taylor-Joy. Like, I thought that was a awesome ending to that character.
A good example of having each persona have a reason to come out because they're all giving their last words.
Exactly.
I liked that part a lot.
Yep.
And just to have, like, what do you guys think of the Anna Taylor-Joy, her connection to him and the whole touch aspect?
Well, that's fine. That's okay. It's weird that I got like a Beauty and the Beast vibe off of them, like a lovey-dovey thing, and that's like Stockholm syndrome type of shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't think that's what he intended, but that's what came off to me, and that's why I didn't like that part at all.
I liked it because Split ended with him recognizing that Casey's character was, what's he call it, broken.
Yeah.
Or she's been woke.
Yeah, because she has cuts all over her body.
Right. Here
Because she hurts herself because she's living with an uncle who hurts her.
right. Yeah. Now he's put away, thank God.
Yeah.
But like they had that connection to begin with, but just to have it exemplified to this degree, like it took a jump, but I think that's okay. The whole touching aspect and
Yeah, but would she be 100% okay in 3 weeks? That's my main thing. I feel like she went through a lot of shit. And to be like so strong, and I know you're with your foster family now, and you'll be fine eventually.
Yeah.
I think 3 weeks is a stretch.
I think she just had a certain compassion for, especially with Kevin towards the end of Split.
Yeah.
And then to have what she knows of what's happening in this hospital with him now, I think that makes it a little bit more believable as far as that to jump.
I just remember in Split, she like literally shot him with a shotgun 3 times.
But she was shooting the persona, the bad personas, not Hedwig and not Kevin.
Not yet. She was shooting the Beast. I know that.
But the
And
Beast-
Kevin told her to shoot him.
You know?
It's still, I don't know.
But I think
It's still
she had.
weird.
I'm getting more and more into it now that we're talking about it. I think I do really like that because she did have a connection with Kevin and Hedwig. I mean, she really did. And yeah, 3 weeks seems a little soon, but she maybe feels that she's the only one that can help him.
She definitely feels that way. It just felt weird. It felt icky. I can't.
It would feel weirder to me if it was like a year later and she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember."
Well, no, she would have time to think about it.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I don't know.
Let's jump out to Mr. Glass's ending because it was kind of a twist for me, and apparently I think we all missed it, but Danielle's apparently the one who caught on to it. But his overall master plan was in order to use the cameras against the ward to his own ending. Like, I didn't see it coming, but I really liked how it came to fruition.
So when you originally watched it, you didn't get that from the ending?
She expected the cameras to come back into play at the end of this movie.
It was kind of hard not to, like, they were literally focusing on people installing cameras.
Right.
They make you think about that the entire time, especially Sarah Paulson saying there's 100 cameras around here.
Yeah.
I immediately thought that there was going to be something with the cameras.
10 seconds of different shots where the cameras are, including one outside. Why would you need to show the outside camera at all?
They give that away.
Right, but to have that come to fruition with that video being sent from by Mr. Glass and to these three last characters who were related to our main cast here, and for them to release it to the world on YouTube, like, I wasn't expecting it to go there at all.
I guess I wasn't either. I mean, I thought that was kind of the nice twist at the end of why he went to the basement. He was doing something on the computer, but we had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes sense, but...
And I like that his overall goal through this entire movie was just that. He never planned on escaping. But what'd you think of his, to wrap up this in trilogy, that he had planned on the train accident for not only Dunn's character, but also the Crumb family?
He didn't plan for it. It was, again, happenstance that both people were on that same train. Because in Unbreakable, he orchestrated a ton of these accidents. And this was the only one that a super powered person came out of.
Right.
And this one so happens to where one superhero person came out of, and he just thought he got the one. But then there was a dad who became the origin story for the Beast. And then he's like, I didn't even know this until I read your file. I'm like, oh my God, that's also weird.
But to have that come full twist, I thought it worked. I thought it was a little happenstance, but I thought it worked for what they were doing.
This is happenstance that I like, and this was the coolest reveal to me in the movie, to where like they use old footage and just mirror it with new one, with the dad getting on the train. And as soon as like the dad is sitting on the train, I'm like, okay, this is fucking cool. This is exactly what happened in Unbreakable. And then it pans to Bruce Willis sitting like the opening on Unbreakable with his head on the window.
Right.
I liked that quite a bit. It's kind of cool that he didn't even know he made his villain until he was reading the file of him, and he was shocked and was super happy about it and whatnot.
I did like how the Beast is actually capable of thinking, because they did a quick turnaround with the Beast, and to see him and Samuel L. Jackson act it out, but for his shoulder to get crushed and then his stomach just broken when he shoved him away, that scene was cringing to see. Like, I want to ask you guys this. With the superhero beings that they are, and Glass's plan was to reveal them. Was it for the greater good, or do you think it was bad?
He killed a lot of innocent people just to prove that there are superpowered beings.
Right. I'm not saying what's right or wrong here, but do you think because now we have them, was it worth the sacrifice?
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I think the world is perfectly fine without superheroes, and just because one psychotic person wanted to prove that there were some because he liked comic books as a kid,
Right.
I do not think he is a good guy, and at the end of this, he's kind of portrayed as one, and that's kind of gross.
I'm not sure if he's portrayed as one, but definitely like he is the villain who thinks of the greater good.
Well, can we talk about the very, very end?
Yeah.
At the train station?
Yeah.
Where it's just like all three sidekicks of these people.
Right.
We have David Dunn's kid, we have Anna Taylor-Joy, and then we have Elijah's mom, and they're all sitting after broadcasting this video, and they're all just like, okay, people will know now because we've been struggling with this for so long, even though with Anna Taylor-Joy it's been 3 weeks. That whole scene was okay, but it sits with me wrong a little bit just because of how it's like, oh, Elijah got one on the real bad guys, which is the secret cult, even though they were just trying to make the world fine just the way it is. I don't think adding superheroes is going to do a damn thing, if I'm being honest.
I think it's just it's a level of good and bad that Shyamalan wanted you to feel. Because, like, all right, cool, the world knows about superheroes, but unfortunately it came at the price of losing all entire cast and innocent people on a train.
And will the world even think that this is real, or will they just think like, oh, this is Photoshop, oh, I've seen this shit before, da 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 da?
It's that's definitely open to interpretation at the end.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, to see what they posted it, and 2 hours later they were watching it blow up on the train, like at the train station.
It got viral, John.
Very quickly. So I don't know. I thought it was a cool message, just because it came back to the Doctor's character Staple yelling out of frustration because then her overall plan failed.
See, I hated her yelling at the end.
Yeah, in the hallway.
That was a bit hammy.
Well,
I would have been okay if she just looked at the screen and then it cut. We didn't need a scene of her going and just yelling.
I think that's the
curse you, Elijah. Like, that's pretty much what she did.
I think it's just a way of them saying, if she was for her to be upset, and she's calm this entire movie, and finally she shows a little bit of emotion at the end when she's lost control of everything, pretty much.
But then, what does the fucking cult do now?
I think the whole point is that the cult's lost. People are going to believe now they're superheroes, and hopefully, what I think Glass is wanting to, if you have the abilities like us three did, this will give you the courage to step out. All right, one of the questions I also want to ask in this section is, with this, maybe more so just Glass, but also this trilogy, how do you guys feel this movie stands amongst the superhero genre in 2019?
Again, this is a weird one, because when Unbreakable came out, the first X-Men came out 6 months before.
Right.
So it's a totally different landscape. And this movie is trying to be a direct sequel to Unbreakable, so it has to live in that world that it created. And there's just been so many superhero movies that this movie feels like one that was made in 2004. It feels like an old movie.
And I'm kind of in the boat that it's refreshing.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it feels dated, but I'm okay with that in a certain way. It really sucks for them that Hydra became a thing in Winter Soldier. Because if it wasn't, I think that twist would have been like a little better.
Sure. Like we talked about earlier, if there have been evidence prior to Glass of that organization, like it would have been just the ending so much better. But we're forced to live with it here. But as far as this movie compared to Marvel or even where DC's at these days,
Yeah,
this one feels a lot more grounded and like a little more closer to humanity than our over-the-top superhero movies. And I actually liked how Glass, pretty much, 80% of this movie was not really action.
yeah.
It was more about a psychological thriller. And I can get where people are saying, well, where's this movie landing? Is it more of a psychological thriller or superhero movie? And I think it's both.
Yeah, no, it can be both.
Yep.
And I think it does what it's trying to do, what he was trying to do with this movie and trilogy.
Well,
I think it's okay.
one thing we haven't talked about a lot yet is the first third of this movie, which in my opinion is the best.
Just where people have been, or what they're
Well,
doing.
yeah. Well, first, like with his kid pretty much being the oracle for David Dunn, like being his eyes and ears and
Right.
everything, and like giving him like GPS coordinates and whatnot. That stuff was really fucking cool to me. I know it's been done before, but they always rehash comic book stuff. Like that's all Elijah does.
Right.
He's talking about special editions and all this stuff. The fight with him and the Beast in that cellar, kind of reminiscing what happened in Split. I loved that fight. I
Yeah.
thought that fight was awesome.
Yeah.
And even though they have a tiny budget, they didn't need anything big because they had the creep factor down.
Exactly.
It was so cool. Some of the best movies ever made. The scariest thing is something you can't see.
Right.
Something that fucking hides in the shadows. And that's what this did greatly.
Yeah, and also did like a good job of just capitalize on that. One of the things that they did was most of the battle that was going on were mostly within their own individual minds. Then once the actual quote unquote action happened, it was a lot more grounded.
Yeah.
And that's going to kind of bleed over into our favorite and least favorite scenes here. Because some of the things that I think, Jake, you were alluding to this earlier, that really didn't work. Some of the action set pieces where they had those bird-eyed cameras against Bruce Willis and James McAvoy in those fight scenes,
Yeah.
those felt weird.
Yeah.
They
felt like this is not the movie to use those.
Right, when you see it's a close-up of Bruce Willis being choked or
Yeah.
James McAvoy being punched.
Just felt weird.
Yeah, I didn't really like that. I actually liked the stock camera footage from the security cameras of them fighting.
Or when Elijah is in the basement wheeling away and you just see the Beast beating people in the background.
Yeah,
I love directorial touches like that.
exactly.
And that's done a few times in this movie to where I'm like, damn, that's a really good shot.
Exactly.
But there's just so many different styles that he uses that he can't get out of his own head. He's like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this, and this.
Right.
In Split, there was a big focus on what he wanted to do directorial wise.
Right.
And that's just not here. Like everything in this movie, it's sporadic and all over the place, and it's trying to be a little bit of everything, and I think that makes it a weaker product in the end.
Interesting. Because that kind of bleeds into the other scenarios where is it too much Unbreakable? Is it too much Split or not enough Split?
See, and I'm okay with where it lands in there. See, I'm all over the board on this because I think it is a good sequel to Unbreakable. I think it is a good sequel to Split. It's just when it tries to do its own original thing, I think that's where it falters, and that's unfortunate.
I gotcha. But let's get back to some of our favorite scenes and least favorite scenes. Anything that jumps out to you guys immediately?
The part, and we've already talked about this, the part with Sarah Paulson sitting in front of all three of them.
And they each have their own little dialogue with her. I thought that was so good. Especially,
It was good.
Especially McAvoy there.
See,
Yes.
Did it not make you mad that Samuel L. Jackson literally did nothing? He acted comatose.
I was okay with it.
I was too. It was an act, and he knew that it was an act.
Plus, I think the little twitching that he was doing during that scene was enough. Like it makes you feel like he's thinking something. It's just not. He's not saying anything.
See, I didn't think he was thinking anything in that. I think he was acting like he was brain dead, and that's what the twitching was about.
Him keeping his cool about someone about to just freaking nail his leg.
Yeah, with the flashlight.
He didn't flinch once.
Yeah.
Right. And I also liked how that's a good scene with Patricia in particular.
Yep.
When they're interviewing, when she's the doctor's interviewing her, and that was so good.
Patricia, any scene with McAvoy playing Patricia was my favorite. That persona, he just nails it.
Well,
I think that's his best
even
one.
now we've seen Patricia break a little bit and question the Beast.
Yep.
Which was a little weird, but it comes back where she believes in him again. They all believe in him again, and he comes back out, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. My favorite scene was the first 20 minutes. It's so good, and it's all like one continuous thing. Everything with David Dunn and where he's been was great, but if I had to pick one, it would be that fight scene with him and the Beast, the first one.
I think going along with that, some of the things that I didn't think I would like, but Shyamalan does this filming stuff where he pretends to film from a character's perspective, and we get that with the Beast crawling along the ceiling.
Yeah.
That was freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that about his directing style I thought was a nice touch to this movie. Any other scenes that didn't work for you guys?
I have one, and I'm trying to remember the exact scene it was, but it was M. Night Shyamalan jumping into it. Him trying
I forgot about that.
Him trying to be funny is like, okay, just stop.
Do I remember you? Did you used to work at the football stadium?
Wasn't he a drug dealer at the football stadium?
I don't remember.
I could have sworn that's what he was.
Only he remembers what he was.
Let your dad take a damn walk. Don't be an actor.
He's not. And
No, I know.
he was okay in Split as like that computer IT guy.
Yeah.
He was okay in that. But yeah, this one, oh my god, I wanted to rip my eyeballs out.
Yeah.
That was
sucked.
one of
That
the
was
worst.
Like, okay.
The hardest thing about this movie is that I like a lot of it. I don't even think I nitpick. I just think he didn't earn a lot. Like there's not one scene in particular that I necessarily hate besides the Shyamalan one.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump on your back and do Shyamalan as my worst. Because
Okay.
that was cringeworthy.
Yeah, that was, ugh.
All right, guys, let's jump
Benghazi.
into the review portion of our show, and this is gonna be spoiler free. And I got some opening night numbers from you. So Thursday, when we saw it, was a $3.7 million opening. But now, if we jump into Friday,
Oh, you have these numbers?
Friday was $16 million
With that 3? Or just
on top.
there's
of the
like
3.
20 million now.
Yeah, which pretty much brings it up to its $20 million budget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Blumhouse helped, but he just put that much money towards it.
Right.
I think Blumhouse did marketing and stuff.
Right, and compared to like previous openings, so Split
Yeah.
had a $40 million opening.
I think he's going to do better than that.
You think so? Over the weekend?
I think,
I think it will just because people didn't know about Split.
yeah.
That's true, and there's a lot of build-up going into Glass.
If I had to guess, I would do 53 million. That seems very conservative.
Are
for me.
we betting? We haven't bet in a long
I
time.
think we should.
Let's bet. Why the fuck not?
Without going over?
53 seems. What'd you just say it was at now on Fridays?
20.
20.
Yeah.
That was after Friday night. And I drove by the theater today on Saturday.
Packed.
Sucker was
Yeah.
packed.
Ooh, wait. Are we counting the 4-day weekend or not?
Cut it off on Sunday.
Sunday?
Okay.
I'll stick with my 53.
Okay. Anthony?
I think that's too high. I'm going to do 47.
Okay, I'm going to play 42.
See, but that's still
Yeah.
more than. Oh,
Yeah, it's still more than Split.
Yeah.
Split did 40.
Yeah.
Split overall brought in 138 domestic, and then 140 foreign. And just for fun's sake, I think Unbreakable had an opening weekend of 30 million.
I think this is a huge January movie. Like, January hasn't seen a movie this big in a long-ass time. I think out of any movie that I can think of, this has the possibility of breaking the highest grossing January release, like opening weekend movie.
Yeah.
Because I think that's around 50.
I feel like this one could be a good word of mouth movie too. People see like it's a weird movie. You should guys go see it.
It could go either way. It could be like, I don't know what the fuck happened, I would wait, or I don't know what the fuck happened, you should just see it.
And see for yourself.
It could go either way with this one.
Review wise, Glass is at a 42 on Metacritic. Split ended at 62, and Unbreakable ended at 62 on Metacritic.
Metacritic's just all critics, though, right?
Yeah.
I would be more curious as to what the audience Rotten Tomatoes score is.
That I don't have. So if you guys want to pull it up.
Yeah, I've got it.
The critic on Rotten Tomatoes for Glass was 36%.
See, I think they're way too hard on this. Just because they're like, oh, Shyamalan's up to his shitty tricks again.
Right. Split ended up on 76 on Rotten Tomato, and Unbreakable was 69. So this is the lowest of the trilogy.
By far.
Yeah.
And Glass has an audience score of 78%.
Oh.
I feel like that feels like that's a little more on par.
I 100% agree.
I feel like the audience is getting it right, which, sure, I'm okay with. I'm happy with that. That leads into our own 5-star review for Glass, and we've talked quite a bit, and we've been up and down quite a bit on this movie. So I'm very interested to see where you guys land. And I think just as a starting off point, I'll go and kick things off. I walked into the episode tonight, probably sitting between a 3.5 and a 4. Like I said, I was I was very interested throughout this entire movie. I didn't know how to feel after it, but talking with you guys, there's things that still bother me, things that I still really like. I think I'm leaning more towards a 3.5 now. I saw it once. I'd like to see it again, but I'm not sure if it's going to be like a must see going forward. And I feel like that's kind of how Unbreakable. Like Unbreakable is like a good watch, but it's not like a classic for me. Split's definitely rewatchable because it's just its own self-contained great story.
I agree.
What are you guys thinking?
I agree. I came in kind of same. I thought it was good. I was in between a 3 and a 3.5. After talking about it, I mean, McAvoy alone brings it to this 3.5. I recommend seeing this movie. It was good. John, I'm kind of with you. I saw it once, and I'll probably see it again, but that's okay. If I don't again, I know how it's going to end. I probably won't seek it out when it comes out to DVD. Didn't connect with me like Split did. 3.5. It was entertaining enough that it was worth going out and seeing.
Unbreakable and Split I both gave 4 out of 5s too. I think both of those movies are great. Rewatching Split right before Glass was really good, but then it also just showed me how much better Split was made compared to Glass. Glass seemed all over the place. If you would have asked me to give you a star rating after the first half hour, I would have said 4.5 out of 5. Sure. I was loving where this fucking movie was going, and then it constantly kept on creeping down and down and down. And I think out of all of us, I talked the most shit about this movie.
Yeah.
But I do like where it went. I do like the creative risks that they took. Even if some of them aren't earned, I would much rather have a movie take chances than not.
Right?
I've been giving out a lot of 3s lately. Like the whole holiday thing that we did with both Mary Poppins and Bumblebee and Aquaman. I gave all of those 3s. To me, Glass is a movie that I'd want to watch over any of those.
Yeah.
I, with you two, am giving it 3.5 out of 5.
Very nice.
Just because I hope with a rewatch I will like it more.
Me too.
I don't know if that's going to be the case, but even with the first time watch, I enjoyed myself even if I was totally perplexed with the last half hour. I just didn't know what the hell. I knew what was going on. I just didn't know why it was happening and why he decided to do it this way. I liked the movie as a whole more than I hated it.
So I think me and Anthony pretty much made it pretty explicit. Anthony, would you rate Split as your favorite out of these three movies?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for me. It'd be Split, Glass, Unbreakable for me.
Yeah. And although I rated both Unbreakable and Split 4 out of 5, I think Split is the better movie. Barely. By a margin, I think Split is just a stronger movie than Unbreakable.
So you do Split, Unbreakable, and Glass?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sure would.
Okay. And Anthony in the same boat as I am?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. All right, so I think it's fair to say people should check this out in theaters. I think it's a fun going experience.
It is. Go with as many people as you can because I think this is a movie that's rare to where it's fun, but there are questions thrown at you and some don't have answers and some are just kind of fun to think about.
And I've heard both sides of the argument where you necessarily don't need to see the first two, but it definitely helps. And and I've heard arguments say that you definitely should see the first two before seeing Glass.
I'm in that boat. I feel like to understand the majority of things that are going on, you need to see both movies.
And I think the audience who sees this movie I think they're on board with that. I think they know that.
I think so too.
So. All right, guys, let's jump into the last portion of our show. And since our trivia wizard is out, I was kind of scrambling last minute to find something for us to do. We're going to do it together as a cooperative game.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And that is, how well do you know your Shyamalan?
Twist, twist! What a twist! Twist, twist!
All right, how this is going to go is thank you to playbuzz.quiz.
Oh, one of these again.
We're going to work together to answer these questions that they have laid out. And how well do you know your Shyamalan films?
Playbuzz.quiz.
Yep, that's right. Only the
Creative.
high caliber quizzes here. This could be really easy or it could be dumb. All right, 10 questions. What did M. Night Shyamalan have to do with Stuart Little?
Wow.
Director?
No.
Voice actor? Writer?
I bet he was a writer.
I would guess he was a ghostwriter on Stuart Little.
My bet is writer too. And the answer is correct.
Very good.
Weird.
I had no idea
What a
about that.
weird thing to be proud of.
Twist, twist!
What was M. Night's highest grossing movie at the box office?
Signs.
Was it Signs, The Village, Unbreakable, or The Sixth Sense?
Might be Sixth Sense.
Oh, shit. It's The Sixth Sense.
I feel like it was Signs.
I think Signs had the bigger opening. I think Sixth Sense had the longer run. I'm going to say Sixth Sense.
Highest grossing.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense?
Yes.
That is correct. Good job.
Does it give you numbers?
It didn't.
Wow, thanks, playbuzz.quiz.
Good job, guys.
Twist, twist!
All right, what recent movie did he direct? The Gift,
No.
The Visit,
Yes.
Sicario,
The Visit.
No.
or No Escape?
The Visit.
The Visit.
The Visit?
Yeah.
Did you
That
ever
is
see that?
correct.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Was it?
Grandparents are evil.
Yikes.
I liked it.
Twist, twist!
All right, which movie did M. Night do off of a popular children's television story? This
Lady
one.
in the Water.
Where the Wild Things Are,
Lady in the Water.
Avatar,
Lady in the Water.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Dragon Ball? It was Avatar.
It was Avatar.
Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Very good.
I try to block that movie out of my memory. That movie is fucking god-awful.
Twist, twist!
Oh, this one's easy. This might be an easy quiz. I apologize. Which two M. Night movies featured Bruce Willis?
The first two. Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. And now Glass!
That is correct.
How
All right.
old is this quiz?
Fairly recent.
Huh.
Twist, twist!
All right. In the Shyamalan film Signs, what was the alien's weakness?
Water. Cups of water
just
left
like-
around the house.
Just like David Dunn.
Swing away.
That is correct.
Twist, twist!
In which of these movies did M. Night not make a cameo? After Earth.
None of the
Wish
above.
not class.
After Earth, Signs, Unbreakable, The Sixth Sense.
Unbreakable, yes. Sixth Sign, or yeah,
Signs, he was a taxi cab driver.
right. Sixth Sense, I'm pretty sure he was something. He might not have been anything in After Earth.
Was it After Earth just the two guys, the two Smiths?
That sounds about right. But he might have been like a hologram on the ship or some dumb fucking
Gross.
thing like that. I've never seen
I
After
didn't think
Earth.
he was on Sixth Sense, was he?
I thought he was.
See, I don't think he. I think he wasn't.
Guys, we're going for a perfect 10 out of
I
10
know.
here. So you got to be confident.
I'll back off it.
I think it's
I'm pretty sure he was in Sixth Sense.
Okay, I'll back off.
we'll do After Earth.
After Earth.
That's my gut.
That's correct. Very good.
Twist.
All right, what acting role did M. Night play in The Village? Was he a village member,
No,
a police sheriff,
I think so.
a guard on patrol,
They're the same thing. Police person and guard.
or a desk guard? 3 guards.
God, I hate you, quiz.
Fuck you, play buzz
Quiz.
dot shit.
Idiots. It's one of the guards.
I'm pretty sure he was sitting at a desk.
There was a sheriff that pulled up and picked up the lady, but I don't
wasn't
think
him.
it wasn't
No,
him.
that wasn't
That was
him.
not him.
Don't
So-
do that.
So was there guards on the towers around the facility?
I don't think that was him though.
No?
I tried to block that movie out.
I want to say he was behind a desk.
Let's do desk.
Desk guard?
Why not?
What is a fucking desk guard?
He guards a desk.
Yeah, what the hell is
I
that?
don't know. We're going with it?
Yeah.
It's so specific. Yes,
Correct.
the desk guard.
Seemed lazy enough.
Twist.
All right, in the movie The Happening, from where did the virus originate?
Plants.
Nature, lab mistake, aliens, terrorists.
Was it nature?
Yeah,
I
remember
tried
it's
to
the
block.
Wasn't it the trees?
No, it was the stupid plants in the ground.
Yeah, it was the trees that were killing off people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nature.
Yeah, well,
This is
I know they were running away from that, but I don't remember where it actually originated
Yeah.
from. Was it plants?
Yeah, and then they killed the master plan or whatever. I hated that movie.
It was the
Yeah, it
giant
was
thing.
horrible.
Giant thing from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Yep, that thing. Going with nature?
Yep.
Yeah.
Feed me, Seymour.
Correct.
Terrible movie.
Twist.
All right, guys, we're going for 10 out of 10 here. What was... Hang on, I'm going to get the exact date here. March 29th, 2018. What was M. Night Shyamalan's last well-received movie? Was it Signs, Lady in the Water, After Earth, or The Village?
Split wasn't on there? Mm-mm. That's some bullshit. Say those
It's
again.
probably Lady in the Water then.
No,
Signs.
Lady in the Water was panned.
Signs, Lady in the Water, After Earth, The Village.
Signs.
Yeah.
Because Lady in the Water was panned. After Earth was panned. What was the other one? The Village?
Village.
I feel like people...
garbage.
I thought that was the start of his like downward spiral.
So let's do Signs.
I think it's Signs.
And... Guys, we got 100%.
Hell yeah.
Good job.
Hooray.
I
Thank
don't
you.
feel happy about this quiz at all. It was
You got
just like...
something right about the happening. That pisses me off.
So according to this, we are... What a twist!
What a
10 out of 10.
twist!
Well done, but you lose. What a twist. I guess that...
Ha, ha,
it was
ha.
Very clever play
I've,
choice
hate you,
10,
play-
whatever.
All right, so thank you for playbuzz.quiz for the... What we call... How well do you know your Shyamalan?
Twist. What a twist. Twist.
All right, that being said, that's been episode 71 of Super Media All-Stars. You can find us on all your social media. You can find us on Facebook at Super Media All-Stars. You can find us on Twitter at SmashPod. You can find us on Instagram at Super Media All-Stars.
You can find me on Instagram at Steelbook Obsessed, and you can also go to our sister YouTube station over at Cinema Obsessed. It's just me reviewing stuff, and I haven't put a new review up in like a week. Last one was still Escape Room. I'm trying not to do reviews that we've done on the podcast. I don't know if I'll do a glass review or not.
Check us out on all your podcast services, and like Jake said, check us out on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to Me All Stars as well as Cinema Obsessed. I think the current plan right now for us is to wrap up our top 10 videos, our movies of 2018. So look forward to that. The goal is to talk some Kingdom Hearts next week before the Kingdom Hearts release.
We have kind of a backlog in editing stuff right now, so
We
we'll
do.
see if we get to Kingdom Hearts or not.
Yeah, because it's going to be a hefty week for our editing as go.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Hearts comes out a week from this Tuesday.
Pumped.
And Resident Evil 2 comes out a week from this Friday.
Have you played that demo yet? The one shot?
I didn't want to play it. I want to
No?
save everything for my first time.
The one shot's only like 15 minutes long.
I just beat Super Smash.
Did you?
It was fun. It was hard.
What?
Some of it's hard.
What the?
World of Light?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
It was a lot.
Impressive.
That was a lot. I'm only 98% because some
What
of
do you
them
mean
are
only?
some of them are so hard. I cannot beat them even with the good spirits.
I didn't even know you got a Switch.
What?
No.
That was my big present for Christmas this year.
I didn't know.
You didn't know
What?
that?
No.
Even John knew that.
Well, of course John knew that. Yeah. You two are attached to the hip.
If you want to hear our thoughts, check out our top 5 video games of 2018 and our video game awards, where we kind of go and elaborate into Smash and our other favorites from 2018 as well. But guys, I thank you for joining me. Audience, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
With a twist.
Game over, man. Game over.
Bye-bye.
I am out of here.